It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. I know this, you'll find this shocking, folks. Absolutely shocking. But I screwed up some of the technical things here. I'm still trying to figure out what in the world I did with them. So I was downloading some pictures from Rochelle, and then I went to upload them on the StreamYard so I could show them on the show, and they're not there. And I still haven't figured out what in the world I did with that. So I'm going to try. Let me try one more thing, and then I'll forget it and use them tomorrow. See if I can figure out where in the world they're going. Okay, they're JPEGs. Okay, so I see now. I've got them going to the wrong place. So let me go back and start this. And then if I can do that, that's not them. Pictures. No, that's not them. There they are. Wow. What a total disaster that was. And they're such great pictures. So I definitely wanted to get them loaded. So guys, just sit tight here for a second. I promise you I'll make it up to you because this is a really good show today. And it is jam-packed with stuff today as well. So, okay, that's done now. And that's on their way loading. Of course, they're not going to be in any order. That's okay. I can screw that up just as easily. All right, guys. Well, welcome to Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News. This is the 25th of May. Sorry about the little delay in getting started this morning. We got a bunch of stories. Of course, the biggie, and this broke after the show yesterday, Norwegian cancels an entire season for the Epic. We're going to talk about that one. A Lifeboat Overboard also broke just right after we went off the air yesterday. Of course, the bad news, and actually there's a silver lining to it. Marwar is a Category 5 right after it left Guam. So it was loaded to the south. So all that Category 5 wind and rain is still pummeling Guam today. A Carnival crew helps a Jamaica hospital. A feel-good story. No loyalty for those on the Venezia. Got to pay for Starlink on a new line that's adding Starlink. You know, some people are going to give Starlink for free because it's so much less expensive, but these folks are not. They're going to charge through the nose. Some good news for the folks on Sky Princess. Some of them don't think that, but getting some reimbursements for all that screwed up weather stuff on the Sky Princess. A year-round river cruise. What? And Coast Guard rescue from the Eclipse. That and a lot more live here at 11 o'clock this morning on Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News. Today, folks, is National Wine Day. I've never been a big connoisseur of wines, and I'm learning. I drank some wine on this last cruise, and I enjoyed it. I actually voluntarily had wine at dinner a couple nights in a row. And we've had wine here one night since I've been home. That's 3 times I've had wine in the last, week? It's probably more wine than I've drunk in the last 10 years. I'm not sure I'm going to be the type to get down to, sniffing corks and whatever they do. I just pour it in a glass and let me drink it. So, no, I'm not going to be one of those. I don't even remember what you call them now. I'm one of those long names. formal wine people that go to wine tastings and that kind of thing. I don't. Yeah. There's things I like and there's things I don't like, and if I don't like them, it's like yuck. If you're listening via the podcast, I wonder how that came through. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. All the big hitters, Stitcher, Pandora, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, any of them. Just search for travel and cruise industry news, and up pops the fat travel guy. If you're ever listening to the podcast and you want to hop over to the video side, there's a link in the description of the podcast that allows you to do just that. It says click here to access video feed. You click on that and you go over and look at the pictures. You can always come back to the podcast to finish listening. Pictures, clips, video, interviews, any of those things. All right, we've got two little things to do before we get to the news this morning. One of them was all that crazy loading I just did. But I also heard from Elizabeth on location yesterday. If you recall, she was in the chat room yesterday and said she was going on a boat ride. Well, this was the gang that went out on a boat. And as you can see, Elizabeth has gotten her tan back. She complained about how pale she was after the 3 months in Australia. Well, she looks pretty dark again to me. That's Elizabeth, of course, in the center of the picture there, folks. If you don't know Elizabeth, that's Elizabeth. Eli on location, Elizabeth on location, whichever. The problem with the boat ride is they got where they were going, and that's what was in the horizon, with lots of lightning and a storm moving in. So they hightailed it back home to Cozumel. By the time they got there, that's what the skies looked like. And it was a nasty, brutal storm in Cozumel. So the end of the boat ride, of course, got screwed up by the weather. All right. Again, I can't promise the order these are in, but this is from my buddy Rochelle. And that is Rochelle. You can tell where she is. I find it interesting because I don't remember. That's a camel, by the way. Those of you that don't know. And I hope Rochelle is aware of the fact that the camel spit. It's just like I was spitting on earlier in the show. Well, the camels spit at you when you get on them. And when they go on strike, they spit. They spit to tell you that they're not happy. Whoop, that's Rochelle on a camel. I hope the camel didn't spit at her. I failed to tell Hot Air Tom that. He thought it was taking a shower. So, but that's Hot Air Tom. But anyway, these are really cool pictures of the pyramids, and which let's see, that's where the camels, they go on strike. See, you don't have to give them water for 19 days. You understand? But every now and then they got to sit down and rest because they're carrying all that hard weight on their big butts. Like what's Rochelle weigh? She got to weigh 100 pounds. I'm teasing, of course. Let me back up here to one of these. No, that one doesn't show it. Oh, it's this one. Okay. See how the pyramids are actually constructed. If you've never been there, folks, see the different layers? That's the way a pyramid is built. At a distance, it looks like it's perfectly triangular. Well, it's not. It's in layers all the way around. And I forget the tonnage. But when they built these things, I don't know, when were the pyramids built, y'all? It was before 1981. I promise you that. Thousands of years ago, the blocks are like 2 tons. And the slaves had to pull those 2-ton blocks and put them in place. Well, they went around the pyramid all the way around and then went up to the next level so that you could actually walk circularly all the way around the pyramid till you get to, that's how they got the blocks up there, is it's a continuous flow. Okay. As you were getting up to the top of that sucker, think how many miles they've had to pull that damn block just to get to the top, near the top. I mean, it took, I don't know, years and years and years and years to build a pyramid. I mean, like, more than a lifetime of the slaves that were doing it. That's why there's one of the wonders of the world. This is the Sphinx. The Sphinx, of course, has gotten very much wind damaged over the years. The nose is missing. It's in ill repair. They got all kinds of projects going on over there now too. There are also some archaeological digs in the area, projects to repair things and try to get them back to their once splendor. But anyway, that's where Rochelle is, over there in Egypt. Really just an awesome place. I'm enjoying her pictures immensely. I hope you are as well. If you haven't yet, please consider smashing that thumbs up button for me. The like button, that helps the channel out a lot. If you have not subscribed, take this as my invitation to do so. It doesn't cost you anything. The bell notification will tell you when I go live or when a new video is up. And I'm doing a lot of that now. I'm still trying to catch up. I still have I've got 7 days, I think, of pictures still on my phone that I still haven't gotten transferred to the computer. That's how far behind I am. And every one of them, every day has probably got 5 or 6 videos to create and use, and blog posts. And I just don't seem to have any time to write. Anyway, I'm really behind. So, all right, today's top story. Let's knock that one out first, shall we? Today's top story has to deal with the Epic, and I'm sure on Cruise Amigos this afternoon, the Epic being John's favorite ship. He's done transatlantics on the Epic maybe 6 times or something. Quite a few times that he's gone back and forth. Yesterday, an email was sent to booked guests and travel partners announcing the cancellation of more than 4.5 months of sailings for the Norwegian Epic. A total of 11 total sailings were impacted. The email read, as a result of a fleet redeployment, Norwegian Epic sailings from December 1st, 2023 through and including April 9th, 2024 have been canceled. The affected cruises include various departures from Rome, Haifa, Trieste, and Lisbon. They're all longer Mediterranean sailings ranging from 10 to 14 nights. They were to visit such ports in Italy, Greece, Turkey, Israel, Croatia, Portugal, Morocco, Spain, and the Canary Islands. The email said, "We understand the desire to travel now more than ever, so we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause." Well, yeah, Norwegian. People plan on a cruise like that, especially from the U.S., That's a trip of a lifetime, just like Hot Air Tom and I are going to do in 2025. We started planning that 6 months ago already. All impacted guests will receive a full refund automatically returned to the original form of payment. With so many refunds, Norwegian Epic can welcome as many as 4,100 guests per sailing at double occupancy, which can meet up to 20,000 to 45,000 refunds. It may take up to 30 days for the refunds to be processed. And I bet that's somebody doing it nonstop. So, further compensation, NCL is offering a 20% discount for any European sailing through and including April 30th, 2024. This can be a great deal to rebook a similar sailing on a different Norwegian ship with plenty of extra time to make vacation plans. Yeah, but did you ever think about people that are saying, God, you screw me once, I'm not going to give you a chance to screw me again? Norwegian, you got to start thinking about things like it. I fuss at Royal Caribbean because they do the same kind of crap. It's beyond comprehension, folks, that major cruise lines that plan ahead. Now, normally we're 2 years ahead of the schedule. I've got the schedule now for 2025. This is 2023, in case you've forgotten. So these sailings are in 2024, which means it's not been quite a year since they were initiated. You can't tell me that in the last 8 or 9 months, something has changed so that you wipe out an entire season for the Epic and you're going to move her somewhere else. And then you're not being honest about it. You're saying it's a redeployment. Okay, if it's a redeployment, give us the back end. Where's it going? Why is it going? Why are you canceling it out? I keep telling you, cruise lines, we're big boys and girls. We can take changes. Good Lord, we've had plenty of them the last 3 years. Y'all got to start thinking about customer relations. That's what the cruise lines need to do. Quit covering your ass and think about customer relations for a change. We sincerely appreciate your understanding. Yeah, bull, you know what? 4.5 months of European cruises are canceled, and they have not yet announced where Norwegian Epic will be sailing in the meantime. Well, of course not. Because they're also, what they're doing, folks, with this, it's just as crooked as a politician. And I'm not saying that on Republican or Democrat, liberal, or I hate them all. They're doing the same thing the politicians will do. You got one story, and so they break it up so they get in the news cycle 6 times. That's crap. Give us the whole story at once. Then if we're mad at you, fine. Then if you want to, suck up and kiss our butts and give us stuff, fine. But let us know what we're dealing with. Wow. And I'm sorry, Norwegian's got as bad as, and I fussed at Royal Caribbean for 2 straight months. They've gotten as bad, if not worse. I'm dealing with them on another issue. And I can't get an answer back. And that's on the December solo cruise. That's not Viva, folks. That's not Viva Voyages at all. This is all generated from Norwegian, where they're trying to get out of a signed, sealed contract. It ain't going to happen. In April of 2025, that's when Hot Air Tom and I are going over there. The Epic will return to Rome excuse me, for another season of Greek Island sailings. Yeah, we know. We're doing that. But how can you depend on that? Oh. Okay. I'll be back I'll quit ranting now. I promise. No, I don't. I got something to show you. Besides the Epic. Let's see, what did I do with it? Oh, tell me I didn't do that either. Okay. All right. So I got to talk to you about the Platinum 8000. All right. This is the Platinum 8000, folks. Miracle Mobility Platinum 8000. Save $800. All right. Now, you guys all know that I just recently bought a power chair, and not from Will, because Will didn't have anything at the time that was suitable. This is pretty close now. It wasn't 2 months ago when I got mine, or however long it's been. But this is the Platinum 8000. It is very similar. I mean, there's a couple differences. I mean, this one folds in 3 seconds. I had never timed mine. I just hit a lever and it goes down. It's probably the same. It's 58 pounds with the batteries. Mine's 50 pounds with the batteries. So that's pretty close. 58 pounds, I could lift that in and out of the car. I mean, I could always take the batteries out and save the 8 pounds. That was the strength of mine to be able to lift it in and out of the car, because I do things on my own. So I don't have to have somebody do it for me. Or I carry a rack around on the back of my car with the thing sitting out there in the weather when I'm on the road. Remote control capability. Mine has that. Large storage compartments. Well, they're not large storage compartments, but there's a compartment under the seat where I can put some stuff, and then there's almost like a rack under there where I can slide my oxygen, which is perfect. I don't have to hold it in my lap or stuff it in the chair beside me. 3.75 miles per hour top speed, 15-mile driving range. That's the same numbers as mine. 396-pound weight capacity. Mine's only a 350-pound weight capacity. So there's a plus on that side for this chair. The one thing that's a plus for my chair that this one doesn't have is the width of the seat. I got a wider seat for my big fat butt. It's a 21-inch seat. This is a 17.5-inch seat, which is what mine had before we converted it to the wide body. Okay. But here's the big difference, guys. The regular price on this is $1,899. This week on the Memorial Day sale, you can get it for $1,099 delivered. $1,099. You can buy it now at 844-664-7467. Please use SRN 11137 when you call them. Man, that's a steal, folks. I got almost $3,000 in mine. And you see how closely they are? Man, that's almost a third the price for a wheel chair. That's pretty awesome. So that's the commercial for Will and Scoot Around today. Needless to say, man, if you got a need for a power chair, wow, that's a bargain. Okay. Story number 2 today, and I saw this and I had to laugh about it. And because it deals with, one of my favorite ships. And that's Navigator of the Seas that I sailed on out of Long Beach last year. The Navigator of the Sea lifeboat was inadvertently damaged and dropped overboard during a safety system maintenance on May the 22nd. At the time the ship was docked in Mazatlan during a 7-night sailing, they had already called on Cabo the day before. They still had to go to Puerto Vallarta and then back to Long Beach on the 7-nighter. So can you imagine somebody in one of the catamaran party boats goes sailing around, and all of a sudden a lifeboat gets dropped next to them? That'd scare the crap out of anybody. And it was upside down on top of that. Guests on board the ship reported hearing, "Oscar, Oscar, Oscar, alert." That means man overboard. I called out at the time. It's unknown whether the alert call was made as part of a planned drill or as a reaction to the lifeboat going overboard. Possibly the crew members aboard for the maintenance or the safety drill. Who knows? I'm sorry, I just found that one funny. The lifeboat was floating completely upside down in the water, verifying that these boats can indeed float when they're fully flooded. Yes, indeed. But later updates and ship announcements confirmed that there were no injuries. Photos show significant damage to the lifeboat, including the aft section where the lifeboat's engine is located. Discoloration in the water indicated that some fuel may have leaked as a result of the damage. Containment lines were deployed around the damaged lifeboat to help mitigate any environmental contamination in Mazatlan. How the lifeboat came loose is unknown at this time, but photos show some pieces of rubber bumpers still fastened to the overturned lifeboat, which could indicate that it had either been secured or was in the process of being secured when it came loose. And if you notice from the picture, see where the lifeboat's missing? I mean, that's where the lifeboat hooks in, and it went overboard. I mean, maybe the lifeboat wanted to escape. It was tired of sitting there in the sun, hot sun every day, going back and forth from Mazatlan to Long Beach, and decided, I'm going for a swim. See ya. Oh my God. I'll be back with more news after a quick word from one of our network sponsors. Sorry, guys, I'm having fun today. Oops, I did it again. Why do I do that? Hit the wrong button. All right, so now I think I'm back. Hopefully you guys can still hear me with me sitting that on. I'm not muted. Yeah, it should be okay, I think. Somebody chop in. Can you still hear me okay? At least these people. Okay. If you can't, I'll try to catch it in the chat. But anyway, I don't think I cut it off. Nothing happened on my end. Thanks, Em. Okay. Now, where was it? Oh, yeah. I was going to this and hit the wrong button. Of course, that's the storm, man. Wow. What an unbelievable thing this was. Residents of Guam are dealing with damage and widespread power outages over the small U.S. territory that was walloped by hurricane-force winds and overwhelming downpours from powerful Typhoon Marwar. Mawar's eyes passed just north of Guam last night, but the island was still battered by the most powerful winds and torrential rains from the storm's eye wall, prompting the governor to urge residents to shelter in their homes until conditions were declared safe. The storm, the strongest to impact the island in decades, was sweeping the island early today with maximum sustained winds 140 and gusts up to 165, the equivalent of a Category 4 Atlantic hurricane. As the storm continues to move away from Guam, it's strengthened to the equivalent of a Category 5 hurricane. But remember, folks, I need to take that off so you can see my hands here. This storm was loaded to the south side, so that as it moved away, that the motion, that will be this end, the motion of the wind and hard rain comes around over there. It would be counterclockwise and pulling all that wind and rain back across Guam, the Category 4 wind and rain, as it has strengthened. So just because it has pulled away isn't giving these folks a break. And that is still going on as we speak now. Of course, they're still, they're a day ahead of us. So it's still, it's Thursday night over there now. So this has gone on for several days. Unbelievable. Marwar is the 5th storm of the year to reach this intensity. I wasn't aware of that. I've followed a couple, but I didn't realize it was 5. Only 5 Category 5 strength storms develop each year on average, meaning that 2023 has already gotten their average of Category 5 storms. And folks, when I looked at my calendar this morning, it's still May. Now there's 7 more months left in this year. But there's no global warming, just ask some folks. That's not an issue. Well, it's an issue if it keeps getting worse every year, guys. I'm sorry, and some of you I know don't agree with that. And that's okay too. Later Thursday, Governor Guerrero said the winds had significantly slowed and roads appeared passable, but said residents should remain at home. Yeah, because the back end's going to smack you again. We've weathered the storm. The worst is gone, but we're going to continue to experience tropical storm winds up to 40 to 50 miles an hour. So I ask everyone to please stay home for your protection and your safety, the governor said in an address just a little while ago. The island was inundated with rain, with some areas receiving over 20 inches in 24 hours. The northern village of Dededo saw 24.5 inches, while the central west coast village of Pidi had more than 22 inches. The amazing thing, and this one I thought was shocking, folks, no storm-related deaths were reported as of 10 a.m. today. That is incredible. All right. This is the feel-good story of the morning. A group of 20 team members from the Carnival Horizon spent Tuesday working not aboard the Vista-class ship, but instead cleaning, painting, and repairing the Learning Center in the pediatric ward of St. Ann's Bay Regional Hospital in Jamaica. At the time, Carnival Horizon was docked in Ocho Rios, 14 miles from the hospital. We're proud to have been bringing visitors to Jamaica for more than 50 years and care deeply about the health and well-being of the community, said Christine Duffy, president of Carnival Cruise Line. It was our pleasure to make enhancements to St. Ann's Learning Center, and we hope it will make a lasting difference for all the children treated there. Among the projects were repainting walls in bright, positive colors, as well as working in the garden to install new plants. Dennis Morgan, the CEO of St. Ann's, said, "We are so grateful for Carnival's participation in our Labor Day volunteer project. Carnival's improvements will ensure that we can continue to provide critical education and psychological support for our young patients while they recover at the newly renovated Learning Center. The volunteer crew members provided the willing hands for the project, while Carnival Cruise Line arranged in partnership with America Friends of Jamaica, the cruise line's foundation partner for charitable initiatives in the Caribbean region. Nature adventure tour operator Chuka Caribbean Adventures, which offers a range of thrilling tours around the island, such as catamaran zip lines, reggae rafting, and more, also assisted with the hospital renovation by donating supplies and providing the on-ground project support. I'm sure that means transportation. Getting the guys from Carnival ship, the Horizon, to the hospital. So, good story, good cause. Congratulations to Carnival and Chuka. And that's terrific for the guys at St. Anne's. I'm going on the December cruise, going back to Ocho Rios. When I was last in Ocho Rios, I rolled out through the port facility looking for something to do, looking for a restaurant or a bar. And the dock we were at, there's two docks in Ocho Rios. We were at the one to the south, and there's absolutely nothing there. You can see at the other pier like there was things to do and more of the touristy type places. I was looking for a bar or a restaurant to sit down, maybe have some lunch, an adult beverage or something like that. Of course, I was on my scooter. I rode the scooter through the dock facility, through the pier facility, and got all the way out to the road. There was no sidewalk. And there was traffic going by at like 45 miles an hour in both lanes. And I said, no, I'm not going to get out on the road on my scooter with traffic going like that. I had one incident where I tried doing that before. Where was that? Oh, that was in Cartagena. The first time I was there. And I made it about 10 feet and turned around and got the hell off the road before I got run over. So I'm looking forward to going back to Ocho Rios when I can actually do something now because of my chair. If I'm at that, the South Dock again, South Pier again, where there's nothing there, at least now I can hop a cab and go someplace and do something, or possibly take an excursion. I can do that now, remember? So that's Ocho Rios coming up in December. And yes, folks, it will get here in December. We just got a little hiccup in the mastery. Diamond and Platinum via FP guests aboard Carnival Venezia. The maiden voyage departing Barcelona on May 29th will not be able to take advantage of some of their most popular loyalty benefits. Carnival Cruise Line has reached out to notify guests of the operational change. Due to the high number of Diamond and Platinum guests joining us on this voyage, we will not be able to provide priority embarkation or debarkation, including at any ports of call, the email explained. Diamond and Platinum are the highest loyalty levels in Carnival Cruise Line's very important fun person loyalty program, earned after 75 cruise points for Platinum, 200 cruise points for Diamonds. The benefit of being the first to board a cruise or the first to exit the vessel, including at ports of call where applicable, is one of the most sought after perks of the high loyalty status. Another much desired perk is for most loyal guest staterooms to be ready immediately upon boarding, but this is another perk that will not be available during Carnival Venezia's first sailing. These guests can, however, drop off their bags in the stateroom right away before heading to enjoy lunch at one of the ship's 15 amazing venues. So, the loyalty on the Venezia means nothing for this first cruise. Well, there's a good reason behind that, folks. One, obviously, there is tremendous interest in the Carnival Venezia, new, cruise Italian style, to see what it's going to be like. The Carnival Venezia was the Costa Venezia in its past life and has gone through a huge refurbishment. So a lot of the loyal Carnival folks jumped on this from the start because they want to witness it, be a part of it. There's going to be all kinds of onboard specialty things happening for that whole cruise. It would be a remarkable cruise to be on. I don't dispute any of that. So you're going to have to bite the bullet on this one and not get some of your loyalty perks. Yeah, they'll be around the next time you cruise. So they'll probably be around for the second cruise of Venezia. We'll have to wait and see. But I would say that quickly that'll be restored. So I wish I was on it. I'm looking at one in January. My only fear is sailing out of New York in January. That's going to be a difficult weather situation. But it was a good deal. So. All right. Everybody's familiar now with Starlink. Those of you that have been on ships with Starlink know how good it is. The implementation, and many of the cruise lines folks are expected to eventually make Starlink free because it is so much less expensive than the old system was. The implementation of Starlink, SpaceX high-speed, low-latency, broadband internet, signifies a significant enhancement in Lindblad expeditions onboard services. The cruise line, known for its voyages to off-beaten-path destinations, aims to allow passengers to remain connected with family and friends and colleagues during their travel. Our goal is to help them connect our guests with the off-beaten-path destinations around the world. And now with Starlink, we can help them stay connected with their family, friends, and colleagues back home, said Noah Brodsky, Chief Commercial Officer of Lindblad. Starlink will enable up to 10 times faster download speeds over our existing service. Besides being good news for the guests sailing on board Lindblad ships in all corners of the planet, the increased internet speeds are good for Lindblad's scientific work, as naturalists, conservationists, expedition leaders, and researchers will be able to work with improved data transmission capabilities. The drawback to this story, folks, is how Lindblad is going to handle it. If you want the Starlink package, you have to pay. If you want their old crappy package, which is not good for like streaming and the like, that'll be free. Not sure I like that philosophy. They're giving something that costs more for free. It's something that is cheaper for them you have to pay for. That seems upside down to me. That's just my thinking, folks. All right, we talked about the Sky Princess all week. And I got to warn some of you guys that are complaining about this. Now, the Sky Princess embarked on its cruise from Southampton on May the 13th. It was intended to be a voyage that would treat 3,600 guests, picturesque beauty of selected Norwegian and Icelandic ports before returning to Southampton in England this coming Saturday. Adverse weather conditions, which we reported on Monday, put a damper on these plans, causing drastic changes to the itinerary. The journey that started off positively with visit to Norwegian port like Skogen, Olden, and Ålesund soon met with unpredictable and unforgiving nature of the region's weather. This resulted in canceling and rescheduling several anticipated stops in Iceland, including Akureyri, Ísafjörður, and Grundarfjörður, and Reykjavik. In the face of disappointment and inconvenience caused to the guests, Princess Cruise has stepped up to take responsibility. Captain Marco Fortizzi, master of Sky Princess, issued a letter on the 23rd expressing regret for the disruption. While missing multiple ports in Iceland has been beyond our control, we deeply regret the disruption to your cruise vacation. Acknowledging the guests' understanding during these challenging times, the letter also revealed Princess' plan to offer compensation. We recognize that the weather prevented us from providing the cruise itinerary you expected, and as a gesture of concern for your experience and gratitude for your understanding, each guest will receive a future cruise credit equal to 20% of the cruise fare paid for this voyage. And it goes on how the 20% can be used. In addition to that, they, of course, get their port charges and taxes refunded for the ports they didn't go to. And the captain sincerely apologizes, yada, yada, yada. Typical, BS from the cruise line. Some of the guests are complaining that that's not enough. Keep in mind, folks, they didn't have to do that. They could have refunded the taxes and port charges, which legitimately, they are required to do, despite the way some cruise lines only do it if you ask for it back, like Norwegian. But they didn't have to give you the 20% discount. So they're doing that. Did it absolutely ruin your cruise? Well, no. I mean, half your cruise was like it was supposed to be. The back half of your cruise wasn't. Does that mean it's worth 50%? No, you still were on the ship. You still ate. You still drank. You still took advantage of the entertainment. So no, they're not obliged to give you 50% of your cruise money back because of weather changed the ports. This is one where I would say, thank you very much, and take the credit and use it however you want to use it. But that's just my thinking on it. If you think differently, that's cool. Put it in the chat room. Put it in the description. I mean, in the comments. I got no problem with that either. All right, we got two more stories left. One has to do with river cruises, unfortunately. Not for me. Viking, the world's largest river cruise line, has announced that they will start offering year-round river cruises on the Rhine. Starting later this year, the new 10-day Middle Rhine itinerary will run from December 2023 through March 2024, a time when landmarks experience fewer crowds. Viking will become the first cruise line to offer year-round cruises on the Rhine. Now, remember, the weather gets a little feisty over there in the wintertime sometimes. The Middle Rhine is one of the most popular destinations, with constantly changing views of hilltops, castles, historic towns, terraced vineyards, along with the steep valley sides. It's a region that will always be best explored by the river, said Torstein Hagen, chairman of Viking. Many of our guests have sailed the Rhine during other seasons, so we're pleased to offer a new option for those who may be interested in experiencing Europe during a quiet time of year and experience it during the winter. You didn't say that. When you could have snow and ice and frozen rivers, and who knows? There could be some drawbacks to this plan, folks. The 10-day Treasure of the Rhine itinerary allows guests to discover the enchanting landscape and rich cultures of the Middle Rhine, a UNESCO site boasting turreted fortresses, grand cathedrals, medieval towns, and stunning scenery. The cruise will take place on Viking's award-winning 190-passenger longships. Prices start at $19.99 per person, and the cruise line is currently offering free airfare and $25 deposits for residents of the U.S. and Canada. Now, listen, folks, I can't do this because they're not accessible. These are the low-slung European-style ships that don't have elevators. So I can't do them. But if you are ambulatory and want to take a river cruise, $19.99 with free air and only a $25 deposit, that's a pretty stout program. And I normally don't talk about money on this show, but that's a pretty good deal, folks. Just saying. Pretty good deal. All right, the last story has to do with a Coast Guard rescue on the Eclipse. Now, this is actually a picture from the helicopter window as it was flying into the ship. Now, if you haven't been on a cruise for a while, you might find this comparison stunning. Notice the size of the ship. It's up ahead a little bit from the helicopter. This is the same helicopter landing on the ship. See how small that is compared to the front of the ship? And remember, that picture was taken from the windshield of the helicopter. And it looks like a little dot. I thought the pictures were great. As far as the story goes, the U.S. Coast Guard rescued a man experiencing stroke-like symptoms on the Celebrity Eclipse over the weekend during an emergency evacuation. 2,000-passenger liner Celebrity Cruises was 100 miles off the coast of Oregon. When the helicopter arrived, the Coast Guard revealed as they hovered above the liner, the aircrew hoisted a stretcher down to the helipad. A crowd of cruisers watched from the balcony above. The patient was flown to nearby Warrenton, Oregon, where he was transferred onto a Life Flight helicopter and taken to Portland's OHSU hospital. No additional details about the passenger or the rescue or anything else. All right, that's going to wrap up. Good heavens, I've used the whole hour and just getting to the news portion. So I got to quickly run through the chat room here to see who's fussing at me today. So I'm liable to miss some people here. I hope I don't. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. There's Eli, Elizabeth. Greetings, Chillie and gang. Already 91 here with humidity in Cozumel. It was cool again this morning here, Elizabeth. It was like 51 and only going up to 75 today. So not a whole lot. And don't forget, folks, at 12:30 today, we got the Cruise Amigos coming up, so I got to get ready for that as well. Hi there, Tom is with us. Dennis is here. Hey, Dennis. Melissa's with us. She's getting ready to cruise again. There's Steve. Hi, Steve. Dennis says, I remember when Voom was free on Royal Caribbean. That didn't last. Yeah, no, it sure didn't. Melissa, what part of Florida? Nikki is Jacksonville, Kate's in Orlando. We need a Miami member. Melissa lives in Arizona. She's getting ready to go on a cruise. That's why she's in Florida. Oenophile. That's it, Dennis. You think I could think of that? Enophile. Sorry. Enophile. You knew I was going to say it wrong, didn't you? Yeah. An enophile. There's Emma. Hi, Emma. Always good to have you in the house. Melissa's in Fort Lauderdale. She flew into Fort Lauderdale from Arizona. That's close enough. Now we have South Florida represented. I'm just here for a few days, leaving Saturday on a cruise. She's going on a celebrity cruise with the JJ Cruise gang. One of the cruises I'm missing. Hot Air says, Emma. Hot Air just listened to your Prima video earlier today. I did the Prima last September, and it does get too busy inside in bad weather like we had. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Good morning, Kenneth. Even the camels sit down at Disney World's Magic Kingdom. Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride. Yep. Emily says, when I was there in my 20s, they did a light show at night in the pyramids. Oh, yeah, the light show was phenomenal. At the Sphinx. Lots of guessing on the Epic changes. Is it going to dry dock to fix some issues? Yeah, 4.5 months. Now that's they're going to put the ship somewhere for some reason. I just wish they'd tell us. You know, all these guessing for a whole season is ridiculous. So they'll come out with another big splash today or tomorrow to answer the questions that they should have answered initially. Royal does the same thing. Aggravates the crap out of me. Dennis says he's doing great, wishing the best for all of you. I love your honesty, Chillie. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you like exactly what I thought. There's Nikki's with us. Thank you, Melissa. Chillie tells it like it is. Well, I don't mind fussing at any of the cruise lines. And I'll fuss at the guests if they're taking something stupid too. Yeah. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Always have, always will. Joanne's with us. Hi, Joanne. Let's see. Everybody's ran on, Chillie. We are listening. All good. Are you allowed to climb those pyramids to get to the top? No, not anymore. You used to, back 100 years ago, 25 years ago. But now they're in such bad repair, it would be terribly dangerous to do that. So, yeah, when Emily was there, they didn't allow it. If you want to be arrested, you can do it. Unfortunately, people try and are detained and often berated by those who are respectful. Yeah. Hot Air says, sounds like a good deal. Man, I thought so. I wish, I would love to do that. Because you got to figure, folks, what's it going to cost to fly round trip from anywhere in the States to Barcelona or Rome or wherever that would be going to, I don't know, Paris, wherever it goes. It's got to be $1,000, isn't it? Round trip. So then you're down to doing a 10-day river cruise for $1,000. Oh, I'd be all over that one, folks. If it had an elevator on there and I could get from one deck to another. I could get from the sleeping quarters to where you can eat food or drink booze. I might have an adult beverage on a cruise. You never know. I might surprise you guys. Steve's laughing at me. Everybody's laughing at me today. Future investment, Tom. Absolutely. These used lifeboats could be recycled into tiny homes. Isn't that the truth? Take those things, turn them upside down, put them on stilts and put a floor in them and a door and sell them for, $80,000 someplace. Well, at least the people in that balcony cabin have a nice view now that the lifeboat is gone. Yeah, that's the truth. Some of those are bad. And then some of those that they call partially, how they word it? Partially blocked. They don't call it that. Partially obstructed. Some of the partially obstructed have perfectly good views. It might be like in between two of them and you got a perfect view straight out. And it's quite a discount. Emily says, here and see, that's when I screwed up and hit the wrong button. Katie's with us. Good morning, Katie. Time you better give Norwegian a call and see what the heck's going on. Better not west with our 2025 cruise. Boy, I've been trying, Kenneth. This has been going on now for 4 days. Back and forth multiple times per day, just trying to get them to come back to what they were supposed to do originally. So we're working on it. So hopefully we'll have something today. Hopefully I have something before my show tomorrow night. I'm doing my show whether I have any information or not on the December 2nd cruise. Hopefully it'll be back on track. Katie's got 3 more days, not counting today. Sonny's with us. Hi, Sonny, down in Mississippi. Tom in Chillie, is it cheaper to book the air coming home from Rome yourself through the airlines or go through Norwegian Cruise Lines? That's one that fluctuates. Sometimes I get better deals going from the cruise lines. Sometimes I get better deals going on my own. I check both. Every time I buy air, I check both to see which is the best way to go, and that's the way I go. Steve said, hits the thumbs up, everybody. Thank you. Anyone going to Ocho, I have the most amazing driver there. Let me know, and I will hook you up. I've known him 25 years. Oh, that's good to know. Now that I can actually do things because I can put my chair, it folds up and goes in the back of the car. And I can do that myself. I did it last night. Amanda, my niece, decided she wanted sushi last night. She said, I'll meet you there at 5:30. I said, okay. So I drove over to the sushi restaurant, which is on the other side of town from here, and pulled in to the parking lot, got out and opened my trunk and took my chair out and set it up and put my little fat butt in it and turned it on and rolled inside, rolled right up to the table, sat just at the table like I was a normal person, just on my chair and not their chair. So yeah, that's a nice thing. The airport is closer to Rome, so it is a bit far from Civitavecchia. Oh yeah, we're talking about the Rome airport now. I mean, they call it the Rome airport. They call it Civitavecchia, the port for Rome. That's what I'm trying to say. You fly into Rome, but then you have to transfer to Civitavecchia. I'm trying to skip by because I'm way past my time limit today. Joanne says, I sell out of Bayonne every January. Never a problem. We've been lucky. Well, that's good to know. Maybe I'll go on and book the Venezia. There's Uber, but also make sure the fare isn't more than the taxi fare. Yeah, I checked both on that as well. I miss Chillie's rant. Darn, we'll catch it on replay. Yeah, I did a little rant. I almost always take the train from Fiumicino. Fiumicino. Hope I did that right. Chillie had a good rant. Love Chillie's rant. You always have a good point. Catch it on replay. There's Yo-Yo Brooklyn in the house is with us today too. Wow, a nice crowd in the house today. Good to see everybody. All right, I'm trying to slide through to see if there's anything major down here. Joanne says, God bless the brave members of the Coast Guard. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the people we never think about, but they take care of us all the time. Hey, there's Chris. Hi, Chris. How you doing? I wish I had some good news for you on December 2nd, but I still don't. Like I said, I don't know if you got in early enough to see what I said about it, but we're still on hold. We're still treading water. I don't like this any more than you guys do, but hopefully we will get an answer between now and Friday night when I'm going to do a live anyway, whether I've got an answer or not. And Dennis from over in Greece says, welcome, Chris. Chris sailed with me on the Joy. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Cruise Amigos starts, man, at 21 minutes. I got to hustle now to get that done. So we'll see everybody over on the Cruise Amigos then. If you want to join us, I have not heard anything from Amigo Martin yet, but Amigo John is going to be with us this week. We'll see how he does. He was pretty sick last week. I'll let him talk to you about that. So that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fantastic day. See you at 12:30 my time on the Cruise Amigos. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.